Hello everyone, welcome back to my GH Spoiler channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Brook Lynn exposes secret at Delilah's funeral. Baby's father shockingly pushes back. GH Spoilers. Port Charles has seen its share of jaw-dropping moments, but nothing could have prepared mourners for what unfolded at what was supposed to be a quiet farewell. The flowers were white. The chapel was full, and the tension inside was anything but peaceful when Port Charles gathered to say goodbye to Delilah. Nobody, not one single soul, expected the afternoon to end in a full-blown confrontation that would shake the very foundation of several lives. But this is General Hospital, and if history has taught us anything, it's that funerals in this town never stay respectable for long. Brook Lynn Quartermain walked into that chapel with something burning behind her eyes. Those who know her well, and plenty of people in Port Charles do, recognized the look immediately. It wasn't grief. It wasn't even sadness, exactly. It was the look of a woman who has been sitting on a secret so explosive that keeping it one moment longer feels physically painful. She held it together through the opening remarks. She held it together through the first hymn. She even managed to compose herself during the eulogy. But when the moment arrived, when the room went quiet and still, and everyone bowed their heads, Brook Lynn made her move, and Port Charles will never be the same. What Brook Lynn knew, and how long she'd known it, according to emerging spoilers. Brook Lynn had been in possession of information about Delilah's baby for weeks, possibly longer. The identity of the child's father had been a closely guarded secret, one that Delilah apparently took extraordinary measures to protect. But secrets in Port Charles have a shelf life, and Brook Lynn, with her Quartermain instincts and her fierce loyalty to the people she loves, had quietly been doing her homework. Sources suggest that Brook Lynn stumbled onto the truth through a combination of overheard conversations and documents she was never supposed to see. Rather than confront anyone privately, she reportedly wrestled with the information, weighing loyalty against honesty, silence against justice. In the end, she chose the moment that felt most significant. She chose the funeral, whether that was brave or reckless. Depends entirely on who you ask. The revelation that stopped the room. Spoilers indicate that Brook Lynn stood up, not during the designated time for remembrances, but organically, urgently, as though she simply could not wait, and delivered the kind of statement that makes an entire room hold its breath. She named the father. The name landed like a stone, dropped into still water. Ripples moved across every face in that chapel. Some people gasped. A few looked immediately to the man in question. Others stared at Brook Lynn as though waiting for her to walk it back, to say she was mistaken. To offer any out at all, she didn't. Brook Lynn reportedly stood her ground with a composure that was almost unnerving. Her voice steady, her eyes clear. She had clearly rehearsed for the possibility that she wouldn't be believed. She had clearly prepared for pushback. What she may not have fully prepared for was just how hard and how publicly that pushback would come. The father fights back, and he doesn't hold back. This is where the spoilers take a turn that even seasoned GH viewers might not see coming. Rather than crumble under the weight of Brook Lynn's accusation, rather than go pale or excuse himself from the room, the man she named reportedly rose to his feet and fought back with a ferocity that left the chapel stunned into a second. Deeper silence. He called Brook Lynn's claims a fabrication. He questioned her motives with pointed, practiced language, the kind of language that suggests he too had thought about this moment. He cast doubt on her sources, her timeline, and her character, doing so in front of everyone Delilah had ever loved, in a space that was supposed to be sacred. It was, by all accounts, a masterclass in deflection. And for a moment, just a moment, it may have even worked, but Brook Lynn didn't sit down. A standoff at the altar. What followed, according to insider spoilers, was a back and forth that transformed Delilah's memorial service into something resembling a courtroom. Voices were raised. Someone reportedly stepped in to try to de-escalate. The attempt failed spectacularly. Brook Lynn, sources say, produced something, evidence, a name, a document, the exact nature of which remains tantalizingly unclear, that shifted the energy in the room. The man who had been so forcefully denying her claims reportedly went very, very quiet. That silence, insider suggests, said everything. The funeral was ultimately suspended. People filed out in stunned clusters, whispering in the parking lot, sending frantic texts, replaying what they'd just witnessed with the particular disbelief reserved for things you genuinely cannot believe you saw with your own eyes. What this means for Port Charles going forward, the fallout from this moment is going to be enormous. And spoilers suggest the writers are only just getting started. The baby at the center of this story is now the subject of what will likely become a prolonged and painful paternity dispute. One, complicated by grief, by pride, and by the very public way in which the secret was unmasked. The man Brook Lynn named will reportedly not go quietly. He has resources, he has allies, and he has a version of events that he appears ready to fight for with everything he has. Brook Lynn, meanwhile, is not walking any of it back. If anything, insiders suggest, she's doubling down, and the Quartermain machine may be preparing to mobilize behind her in ways that will make her opponent deeply regret choosing a public fight. And somewhere in the middle of all of it is a child who deserves better than any of this, a fact that sources say will become the moral center of the storyline as it unfolds in the weeks ahead. The verdict: General Hospital has always known how to use a funeral. The genre has a long and storied tradition of turning moments of mourning into moments of maximum drama. And this one, Brook Lynn's revelation, the father's furious pushback, the suspended service, and the stunned crowd, looks set to be one for the record books. Buckle up, Port Charles. This particular secret may be out, but the war over what it means is only just beginning.